I have really been enjoying reading your reports, and I think you've done so much in such a short time. And I really hope everyone will have a look at the feedback you've had on the reports and remember that the main goal of this one is not necessarily to get your, HDs or perfect scores, even though some, a select few do get those really high scores, but it's to have a look at the feedback so that you can then work on that for your larger pieces of assessment to come up. So usually I try to give you one or two ideas of something to work on. So like I said, I've been really impressed. This is still early in the learning days, and I feel like everyone has come a long way in learning how to analyze a conflict and the origins and sources and actors. I was really pleased that people really worked on incorporating some of the course material as well, and that's really important because a lot of assessment actually involves us not just showing us what you can do full stop, but reflecting actually your learning in the course itself, so that it is very directly related to the unit. So I've been really pleased with those results, and I know that assignment 2 part 1 has come straight away afterwards, and so it is a little bit of a tiring first half of the course, I admit that, but the good thing is it's not quite as frantic, I think, in the second half, and also your assignment number 3, your essay at the end, is not as many words, given that you've already had 50% of your assessment by then. So I think it's 2,500 as opposed to the usual 3 or so thousand that can be in 60% assignments. So you have that chance to get a lot of work done now, and also you have a break for consolidation week next week. So I really hope you can take full advantage of that and enjoy a bit of a rest from work and a bit of downtime. I encourage you to do so. This week we started to look at actual methods of conflict resolution and also timing. So 6.1, 6.2, things like mediation, early warning, confidence building measures, fact finding, preventative deployment, and peace zones. So at what points they might be used. And in some cases, all of these models might be used. And also different types would be used in old style wars or new style wars, or involving, say, two nation state actors. Say, for example, North Korea testing a nuclear weapon might involve early warning. It might involve mediation and preventative diplomacy, where you get envoys and third parties coming in. It might involve confidence building measures. Definitely fact finding, because before countries go in guns blazing saying we're going to stop the next nuclear war, you want to have a look and see whether or not the threat is really valid. Though that didn't really happen. The fact finding didn't really happen in terms of Iraq very well, did it? And things like peace zones often come after there has been a conflict and significant casualties. So more with those newer wars and ethnic conflicts that can flash up very quickly, you end up in a situation where you have to keep the peace. So this is what we're looking at this week. So 6.1 is sort of your list, and there's some readings around that. And then 6.2, looking at some of the timing and the depth of prevention. So you have light prevention measures, which is usually avoiding something spilling over into violence, or actually the scale of war. And that might be things like diplomacy and some of those lighter preventative measures, confidence building measures, or deep prevention, which is often getting to some systemic long-term causes and sources of conflict and actually looking at dealing with them. So places where there's flashpoints or the potential even for future violence to be reignited. Now, obviously, Israel and Palestine, if they could secure a peace to begin with, would probably want to be one of those places where you'd be looking at deep prevention. But as I said, they haven't even gotten to the point of being able to talk about prevention there yet, because the hostilities have never really ceased. But deep prevention, where there's been some long-term hostilities that constantly bring conflict and war, that's where deep prevention would come into play. Is not Israel, sorry, Ireland, north and south, that's sort of some issues where they've had to do some deep prevention because there's been some long-term hostilities and suspicions. So I'll leave that over to you. These are all ideas you can incorporate for, even though by now you will be pretty much handing in part 1 of assignment number 2. These ideas can be incorporated into part 2 of assignment number 2, which we'll look at after consolidation week. But this is when you comment this is when, sorry about those lights, you make 5 comments on other peer virtual collections, for example. So you can comment more than once on a virtual collection because you might not even have 5 other teams to comment on. So you comment, make 5 comments, your best 5 comments, and in those comments you're going to extend or build on or critique other people's virtual collections, again using course themes. So you can look at some of these ideas, from week 6 or any of the other weeks in doing that. Anyway, with no further ado, I'm going to say have a great consolidation week. I am around as unit coordinator for emergencies, but if it's IT related or enrollment related, then you do need to go to student advisors. And as an ELA, anything related to assessment or the course unit or discussions that can wait until the end of consolidation week will wait to the end of consolidation week. So as of Sunday night, basically we have the week off, coming back on Monday let me give this some thought, Monday the 26th of August. So have a good break, everybody, and I'm still around until Sunday night if you have any queries. And like I said, just on email for any emergencies. And it's been great to see you working so hard, and you have a well-deserved break coming up.